like optimization is not on like, oh, let's come up with an idea. It's based on let's look at the data and actually see based on the real numbers what's going on.
Dennis,
Hey, Mr. Jack, how you doing?
how we doing? I'm doing good.
All right.
You in the hotel right now?
In a hotel in Portsmouth, Ohio.
Funny.
And
Oh, I don't know if we can have this meeting yet or not. Just because I haven't gotten access on this stuff yet.
it's okay.
Okay.
There's a lot of stuff we can look at that's public, which is the beauty
That's
of and all that kind of stuff.
that's what I was thinking too. I'm gonna write down these tools as we go too, because I'd like to be able to. It'd be cool to be able to do this for people. I mean, I've seen you do it a few times now, and so I think it's like it can be a cool selling point, but also it's just like cool to be able to audit people's websites. So I'm gonna write down these tools as we go.
There's no better selling point than being able to expose what's actually specifically wrong and be able to do it so quickly and cleanly and powerfully and arguably.
Yeah,
But,
because I mean, then they're just selling themselves at that point.
well, when the patient is in pain and they come into the operating or the emergency room, we take their blood and all that. And we tell them take the x-ray and we can see where the broken bones are.
Mm-hmm.
You could say that an MRI and an x-ray is a great sales tool, but really the idea of MAA, metrics analysis action, is we're figuring out what's wrong and what has to happen. And thus that's important to be able to competently deliver the results, right? You have to diagnose appropriately. Otherwise, you're going to do the wrong. They need a heart surgery versus a liver transplant. You don't want to do the wrong thing.
Absolutely.
So especially in performance deals like this one, where it's a rev share, analytics is important because it's not an hourly deal. You're not an employee being paid a salary. You need to deliver the result, right? So that's what this whole thing is. Even though showing competence is a great sales tool, that's not even the main thing. Right?
Yep.
So we know in our 6-phase process that the most important thing in business or just in general is scaling what's already working, which is the 80-20 rule. And you know that when we look at his group on Facebook, of course, you said in the last year, he hasn't done a lot of the coaching, whatnot, which is why the revenue's dropped off. But, the idea of amplifying, doing more of what's already working instead of just trying new stuff is, well, let's leverage his Facebook group. So the Facebook group tied to the website, tied to his YouTube, is sort of the power cycle that will drive more people into coaching. And I imagine he's got a couple people that will close or maybe people self-serve and they just sign up for the coaching. But the most obvious thing is fix the fundamentals so that more people can sign up for the coaching. And so we can take his top content and run dollar-a-day ads against people who run tree services or are, relatively small. Obvious, but needs to be said, right? So first thing is, this website looks like a ClickFunnels page, like a ClickFunnels landing page. It's the nature, it just has that look,
That's what he's talking about. I don't know if it is that now, but that's what he's talking about, turning it into.
Well, when I see buttons that look like this looks like ClickFunnels to me.
Yeah, I think that's either what it is already or that's what he's turning it into.
I think
I don't really know a ton about that.
But whatever it is, the main website, you can use ClickFunnels, just like you can use Infusionsoft or HubSpot or whatever, but that is not a substitute for having WordPress be the platform for the website, even though ClickFunnels is a landing page tool. The landing page tool is not a website, right? But a lot of people get that wrong. And then when you tell them this, they'll say, yes, but I just wanted to get something up real quick. And I knew one day I'd have to build a website, but for now, I just put up the landing page so I can collect money, this kind of thing, which is fine. And some people, they want to go to high level or they want to go to whatever. And there's all kinds of things that allow you to sell and allow you to follow up, but it's not a substitute for the website, which, a landing page is like one part of the website, right?
Yep, that makes sense. Yeah, they're just created for specific events or promotions or whatever it is.
Yeah. So he's got a lot of content, and the easiest thing to do is to be able to repurpose it and then be able to amplify it, which is what we know in our whole process here, like the content factor, 4-stage content factory, and then the full 6-stage process that we teach. So if we look at these ones, it could be, they don't even have to be recent videos, but maybe we could look in the ClickFunnels or Google Analytics or his Stripe or whatever. I think he's got authorize.net in there. But some of these here, well, you can categorize all of these into top, middle, and bottom of the funnel. In fact, I think the majority of what he has is going to be mid-funnel, where it's education, live case study, how to do this, how to do that. That's almost always going to be mid-funnel. And then at the end, or maybe, he'll have a Black Friday sale, or maybe, I don't know what it is that's driving him sales. You'd have to find out. But maybe it's like he builds the list and then every once in a while,
He,
opens
yeah,
up.
he said it's pretty much his clients right now are pretty much organic through the YouTube. As far as Tree Savages goes, I'm not completely sure about Redbeard.
Yeah.
And then also just like reaching out in the Facebook group. There's some there, but
So it trickles in inbound because of organic,
yep,
but now that we want to scale this thing, because he's got a business partner,
yep.
then you
And
want
the earnout is a great thing, because I'm gonna be able to. I mean, I think we can get back up to 20K pretty quick,
easy.
and at 20K, I'm making 5K a month. That's pretty solid for this being kind of not all of what I'm focusing on, especially when I'm mom and papa's right now. I have like zero expenses.
Right. And
No.
this can be one of many businesses that you apply the high rise influence to. And then not only do you run through this initial 6 month process, but then if everything's a fit, you can be a partner or take a piece or take a rev share or something where it's not just you're an expense. No one wants to pay an ongoing expense,
Yeah.
right? And so think of it as like the 6 month building phase. So there's a lot of stuff here. You mentioned margin multiplier kind of as a SaaS, which I'm assuming sort of ties in with his $1,000 coaching or or you're saying it's now
He
$2,000.
was he was thinking about there's this marketing leads, like highly targeted leads that he was thinking about he was going to test them for Redbeard and then possibly add it as a package like addition
Hmm.
to one of our packages to help. We would like white label it with the Tree Savages, like
Sure.
you know what that process would be. And then it would essentially, we would buy the software and then just be plug in their location with all of our criteria, all of our filters.
Okay.
And then it would be like highly targeted. And that would be help them get leads as well.
What's this
But then
software?
we kind of extended it even farther. Like if we're getting, and he's like, what if there's some sort of like subscription model like that we could build out, like we get them the leads and then we like for the area there's like a subscription model, is
Mhm.
like those people like pay like whatever it is, like $100 a month. We get a bunch of people in that area $100 a month, and then we pay for, and then if you're paying $100 a month, then you get free tree work or you get free tree management or whatever it is, landscaping stuff, which was kind of an interesting idea, but that's down the road. I think we just want
Well,
to
the
focus
pest
on.
control guys have done that, but I would say let's start with things that already work before we try new ideas.
I agree.
Yeah.
And he's very ADHD. So that's one thing to know, and that's good that I'll be able to help with, is he's kind of like he started a bunch of things and done a bunch of things, but just doesn't really like finish them all the way through.
Good.
Or like he'll kind of finish it and then on to the next thing. And then the thing doesn't really have a chance to take off, you know?
So you'll be his integrator.
Yep.
Okay. So categorize these videos, not based on number of views, but based on what stage in the funnel they are. So we can take the ones that, for example, so I'm giving you Boolean logic, steps.
Mm-hmm.
Videos that are 30 minutes plus are ripe candidates to turn into an article using the AI.
Cool.
But that means the website has to be on WordPress, which is pretty easy enough. And you can still use ClickFunnels on the website, right?
And where were these articles? Do you think like we just make a Tree Savages blog, or what would be the best place to post those?
You put it on treesavages.com. Then across the top, there are headings or pages on the different topics, like pricing your thing or starting your business or hiring your first team or buying the equipment or whatever the major categories are. And that's what WordPress allows you to do, is set basically categories, which are called pages. And then you have, you know, WordPress is a blogging platform, right? In other words, the structuring of different articles based on tags and categories. And pages are the ones that are in the navigation across the top.
Cool.
Yeah, that's easy to set up, right? That's like not even worth thinking about. So number one is just repurposing long form content in the videos so it can start to rank and be found. Number two is bottom of funnel things like, how to sell more stuff or margin multiply, all the things that are bottom of funnel where they're selling. We want to
Mm-hmm.
run dollar a day ads against those. So the most obvious thing is dollar a day on these YouTube posts and then repurposing these into Facebook, into Twitter, and into LinkedIn, because that's, the beauty of repurposing, and then run dollar a day probably on Facebook. Like I think you could just take his public figure page and then just turn this into turn professional mode on, and then just start boosting these, right? You understand how that works, right? Professional mode, boosting
Yeah.
posts.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It's
Because
just like sponsoring them.
yeah. And so that would, and then, when we repurpose videos into articles, which is the longer term SEO thing, he becomes more Googleable. I mean, of course, he's already kind of known in the world of tree people, but
Mm-hmm.
we want to, so he's got a profile here, and then he's got a page here, and he's got a personal brand website, which is not up. And then when we Google him, we see his Facebook profile, LinkedIn, Instagram, and then some of the YouTube stuff. But it's all kind of disconnected, right? And there's no one searching for him, at least on Google, but he's being found on YouTube and Facebook, like you said. So to make him be better known and for our ads to be more effective, we want to claim the knowledge panel. So the 61 conference score is a good start, not bad. So then you come in and claim this for him, or just be him. Because when you do the knowledge panel, you either say, yes, I'm this person, or I'm the representative. It's just easier if you pretend to be that person, right? And just put in his email.
Yep.
Okay. And this ID, which is him, like he has, like these items are, I'm pretty sure these are like all him. So I think that he should be able to, he wrote this book, right?
Is it the? I don't.
Is that not
I'm
him?
not sure. I think I've seen that.
Okay.
Maybe is there like about the author with a picture at all?
Let's see. He didn't fill out a bio.
It might be. Yeah.
Well, I'm like 89% sure that it's him. But this one doesn't really help him because
Yeah. It sounds like him.
this is so broad. So then whenever I see stuff like this, unleash the beast within, that's really a hot take on Anthony Robbins, right? Awakened Giant, Unleash the, like it's literally like an Anthony Robbins ripoff, but his version of it, because it's motivational, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
this is general motivational stuff here that you can be successful, right? And there's nothing wrong with putting stuff out there, but it doesn't appeal to a particular niche audience. So what we should do is take all his stuff and turn it into one for tree savages, because that book would actually help. This general self-help book, unless he's just like super passionate as a side project, that's fine, but it's not going to help him in this tree savages business because it's not
Yeah.
relevant, not specific. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. I get it.
Okay. So I think this one is him. So you can claim that one. And you know how to use our tool, right?
I haven't used it before, but I'm sure I can. I can go through
Yeah.
it.
It's type in Knowledge Graph Explorer, Blitz Metrics, and it'll show up because obviously our stuff is searchable. Otherwise, we're not practicing what we preach. I think these other two are him as well. So I think you can probably claim these ones.
Cool.
You can claim all three. Yeah, there's three of them according to Google. Google says
How do I get to that page? Is that like just right on the main website, or is that a different one?
you have to Google all these things. So here, why don't you
Mhm.
share your screen and let's have you do this.
Oh, let's see. Get it?
Yep, there you go.
Okay, sweet. So I'm
Now
at
do
Blitz
a
Metrics.
search. Yeah, do a search yeah, there. Just type in Knowledge Graph Explorer Blitz Metrics. Just type it in. We're searching Google for it, right? Or you can type in Knowledge Panel, my name, or any of these things, and it should pop up. That's the how to. But I think there's a link to there. You see the blue link, how to get, oh,
Right here.
that one, that should work. That's an explanation of it. There should be a link to it. Hopefully the bottom. If not, go back to that first article you pulled it. Yeah, that one. And then you see that blue link, Knowledge Graph Explorer.
Yeah.
Oh, that goes to my knowledge panel. All right. Proof that I have one. Okay, good. All right. So you see that? Yeah, that one. Now, yep,
Got it.
type in his name or yours.
So I'm lower than him, but that makes sense. He's been doing stuff longer.
Yeah, but what was the other one? 63 and you're 24.
61, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
they all need to be at least 100.
What's like the max? Here, let's see.
I mean, type in anyone famous and see what the number is.
Well, let's see what you're at. And then 87. Let's see.
The right one, but mine's messed up, which I think is hilarious, but whatever. 36,000. Yeah, well,
That's crazy.
Sting. Wow, that can't be the right one. Okay.
Oh, that's funny. Will Smith is pretty low compared to Robert Downey Jr. Trying to think who's like the highest. No, these people aren't alive. Cool.
Yeah. Okay. So it's just important if you're running a coaching business,
Mhm.
you have to work on your personal brand. There's just no way around that.
Yeah.
Okay. So get control of the hosting. It's probably hosted on ClickFunnels. We can move to our WP engine if you like. We've got the VIP service on there.
WP Engine, what is that?
The engine is a hosting service designed just for WordPress.
Got it.
And then there's different levels of hosting. Just like any company you buy hosting through, there's, $10 a month grandma's website hosting up to
And you're
10,000.
saying like the domain hosting?
Hosting WordPress, right? WordPress is open source software, but you have to host, it has to live somewhere. You get the
Got
software
it.
for free, but it has to live on somebody's machines, right?
Makes sense.
We
Hmm.
have AWS, which is Amazon's hosting, but that's for our own applications. But if
Hmm.
it's WordPress, then we want to use a host that's designed just for WordPress.
Got it.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Yep. Okay. So there's some technical details to move that over. Then his site, he's either not maintained this or just sort of fallen into disrepair. Maybe someone took the domain. Let's see if he's even managing this, because we want to put his site on our, oh, it's this, is that spelled right?
Yep.
So he let it lapse. So we'll just go ahead and pick it back up and we'll put it on our platform that builds out personal brands and domains.
Perfect.
So GoDaddy, just like Spirit or Legent or Frontier, they try to upsell you on all this nonsense. So but it says a penny here, but by the time you're done, it's hundreds of dollars. So try to make sure we don't get screwed. They try to sell you on all this stuff, right? I don't want any.
Hmm.
And then send a note to Felix at blitzmetrics.com
Yep.
saying that, hey, we just got Sean's personal domain, so we're going to set it up on. We built software that will basically fill this thing out. Okay, I'll pay the money. That's fine. You pay me later.
Thank you.
Okay,
I
and then
can
we
send
have
you a Venmo too.
I'm not worried about the $30. It's times worth more than the $30. Okay, so now we have this, and
Cool.
obviously we'll put all of it in your ownership. I just bought it now just in case someone wants to, pick it up later, and then you want to hassle with somebody who squatted on your domain, right? We don't
Yep.
push anything. We're just preemptively grabbing it because as you start to put stuff out there, his name becomes bigger, and then people will just buy. There's bots out there that crawl the internet that will just buy people's names, right? So we don't want that.
Perfect.
All right. So we're going to build out his personal brand website, the content he's already made, stuff like this, stuff in the Facebook.
Hmm.
We know Margin Multiplier is a great piece of software that, I guess, is he selling that by itself, or is that part of the coaching, or what is that?
I think it's an actual app. It's a part of the package. So the
Oh, use
saw
the app to price stuff. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
what he was sales accelerated workshop. That's the new product line, and it's part of the package. Margin multiplier is part of the package of the SAW model. So that'll
Oh,
be
so
the
people, okay. So really it's to sell the coaching to get the software.
no, it'll
No?
be separate. So the SAW, the sales accelerated workshop or
Okay.
workflow, it's kind of stands for both.
Okay.
Um, that's like a package. It'll be $1,000 activation fee and then $1,000 a month after that to be able to use the margin multiplier software and use the contracts that we have. We have templated contracts, and then we have some other things that we're offering as well.
But
That'll
people are
be
coming into the coaching first. They're not just buying the software, right?
no, there are people that'll buy just the packages and
Oh,
not
really?
do
But
the
what's the general
coaching.
path? Is there a more common path?
Um, well, right now he hasn't even been coaching much at all. Like if you
But
go
what, but
to,
what is your sense of what's the most common path?
I'm not completely sure
Okay.
what the
Because the funny thing is that he's making a lot of these videos, which is his coaching, selling, influencing, giving business tips. He's not, this is a Hyde lie. He needs to just run dollar day against it, really.
yeah.
I mean, he's definitely done the ads, the meme things like that guy.
Yeah, that's what he was saying. He was trying to be the meme of the day.
He's trying to be, but that's not working for him because of the nature of being when you're an industry person, that's just,
Yeah.
what's got Hasbullah. That's what that baby guy's actually like 27, I think, something like that.
Yeah, I know.
Mike Tyson tried to hug him like a baby.
I saw that video.
Okay, so I think we just need to get his stuff out there, knowing that Facebook and YouTube are the two big ones. Repurposing to the web, dollar a day ads against these, targeting tree service people. And then what's the flow? So if people see this, they go to a landing page to sign up for coaching, or they there's an appointment, right? Isn't it an appointment setting thing for coaching to see if they're a fit for coaching?
Is that Redbeard or Tree Savages?
Tree savages. That's the main thing we're looking at, right?
Yeah. Yep. Redbeard is just like a part of that. And I'm sure he funnels some people from Redbeard. I don't know if he does that, but
Got it. I mean, let's see.
I think most of the stuff is going to there's not a clear funnel.
Okay, but
That's so I
you're
think
saying
that's
that,
like those are like the leads. Oh, sorry. I was looking at my Tree Savages website. Sorry.
okay.
Yeah,
But
if
you're
you
saying he
hit one of
wants to
those,
sell 8 people at a time for a $2,000 one-time coaching package.
well,
Okay.
it'd be $2,000 recurring every month for,
Oh. Oh, okay. 2000 a month, but eight at a time. Eight people at a
yeah.
okay.
What
All
do you
right.
think about that pricing?
That's pretty standard for low
Okay.
ticket coaching.
Yeah.
So the way low ticket coaching is sold is people, this would go straight to a Calendly, and then
Mm-hmm.
people would book a time to be able to see if they're a fit and discuss their needs and where their business is and if they're
Yeah.
qualified, right? Which is
Do you,
pretty,
do you
yeah.
think we should offer like a really high ticket like one-on-one coaching as well, just to make the group coaching more appealing? Like kind of the ladder. I know a little bit about the ladder approach.
You could, but then you risk creating more confusion.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
then usually people who do that, who do a full three tier, have a pretty big audience where there's this scarcity model where it's like, okay, well, coaching with Tony Robbins is $1 million to meet him for 2 hours because he
Yeah.
already has this huge audience. But if you don't have the huge audience, it's harder to sell. A lot of people
Mm-hmm.
that sell high ticket would try to argue with me on this, but I think it's just easier, especially because it's so small right now, just to have this one simple package of 2000 a month.
Yeah.
Keep it like that. Don't have like five packages or
Yeah, so the two packages would be, one's the SAW workshop, so the sales accelerated workshop, and that's kind of the software.
uh-huh.
That's like the SaaS model, and then the other one with Tree Savages, and then the other one would be the the coaching group.
Okay. Okay. Good.
So it'd really
So
be
I don't
just those two options. And then the just for I said this, but the SAW would be a, and that's like with that also it's a high level. We have CRMs
okay.
with that are essentially white labeled. So that would be great if one of our VAs at least had a skill set in high level as well.
Okay, well, high level has a whole community where you can hire people VAs that do high level.
Cool.
Yeah. There's a whole group you can post inside that group and say, hey, I'm looking for,
Yeah.
high level community job network, right? This one.
Perfect.
All the VAs
I'll
are in
write
here.
that down.
See people post stuff. Look at this. Like all these people are coming in. Bunch of Pakistanis mainly, but that's what you see.
Is that Pakistan is kind of the worst for VAs? They kind of get a bad rap.
Yeah, because there's a lot of them. I mean, there's in any network, in any country, there's always good and bad people, right?
Yeah,
Just, are you in this group? You should join this group.
I'll join it. I just wrote it down.
Yeah. That's different from the main high level community. What are you using for email? So I imagine he's got some newsletter, some,
Yeah, right.
weekly
Right now
update
I'm
kind of.
using my personal email. So I was thinking about just making a new email. I don't really know, or make it a Tree Savages email, but
Yeah,
I
you
kind of
should.
want to do like an email that will just be purely for work, because my Jack Wendt one, it has like a bunch of stuff. I
Yeah,
mean, I had a work email obviously, but now I don't.
yeah. Yeah,
What do you think would be a good domain for me? Like if I just open another Gmail.
I think that you keep it real simple and you use Google Workspace, which is what the corporate Gmail.
Okay.
So, if you look here, I have in my settings, I have my personal email, 668 Sierra, but then, I have this one and I have this one. I have multiple emails that all
Mm-hmm.
funnel into this one email, and then I can send messages as, whatever email that comes in.
Got it.
I never use it, but I have dennis@socialmedia.com. So I can send and receive.
So do you think I should make a jack@highriseinfluence.com?
Absolutely should, and pay the most basic minimum, which I want to say $6 a month, like $10 a month.
Okay.
Basically
Yeah.
Gmail, but for your company. Gives you these other sorts of features, right?
Cool. Yep.
Yeah. And it's just way better than using personal Gmail or Hotmail or whatever it is. Just, Jack at High Rise Influence it's just better, right?
Yeah.
Looks better, right?
And then I can use that for all my Tree Savages stuff as well.
Yeah, and I think you should. But I think you should also, and it seems complicated, but it's actually not. You should have jack@treesavages.com too.
And then so what you were just repeating back to you, what you said. So like you have 3 emails or whatever it is, 4 or 5 emails attached to that one inbox, and
Mhm.
whatever you receive it as, whatever email receives it, it'll send it as that domain.
No, you can choose. So if someone comes in on any one of the emails, I
It's the
can
same
have,
inbox though. It's a shared inbox.
yeah,
Got it.
but I can look at any one of them if I want. I'm on top of my email, so it's okay. Some people, they can't manage it, so they need to separately log into their work email, which I think is not really solving the real problem, which is not being organized.
Yeah.
But of the emails that come in, from all the emails that you connect back in, because you can do forwarding and pop with
Mm-hmm.
Gmail, which is a great thing, which is free. You can say, when you reply from any one of those emails, you can
Mm-hmm.
reply as any one of the ones as a default. So
Mm-hmm.
my personal email is where I used to live in Mountain View, California. The street address is 668 Sierra Avenue. That's where I used to live.
Yep.
So, but when people send messages to Dennis at Blitzmetrics, I have the default set. So I don't even have to do anything. If I just reply and hit send, it automatically replies as Dennis at Blitzmetrics.com.
Perfect.
But I could easily say, if they come in on this email and this email, reply as Dennis at socialmedia.com, or reply as my personal one, or reply like I can, no matter, I can have any kind of thing, any rule for how it comes in, any kind of rule for how it goes out,
Mm-hmm.
automatic, right?
Cool.
And that's the beauty if you are involved in multiple companies. But I think your main email should be jack at highriseinfluence.com.
Cool.
And that's where, I mean, you could still have your, probably easier for you is that'll be the main one that you like. Almost all emails are going to come from Jack at High Rise Influence. You might have some personal emails that come in because of school and personal friends or whatever.
Yeah. And
But
you said that's Google Workshop is what I do
Google
that through.
Workspace, you could just sign up right now. I can even show you mine. There's
Got it.
different levels, but you don't
Yeah.
need any of
I'm
the
already on. I'll do that for sure.
you just need the most basic one,
Mm-hmm.
and it'll be increasingly important for you because as you start to hire more VAs, you're going to put them at, Jennifer at High Rise Influence or
Yeah.
Samir, like,
Or media or whatever it is, content
yeah,
at high
help that.
rise.
And then I'll show you later when you get to that point, like support or group, you won't set up actual accounts. You'll just set those up as group emails. So like we have Stephanie at Blitzmetrics or accounting at Blitzmetrics. Those aren't separate email accounts. They're just groups where whoever's in that group can respond as support or respond as, and it doesn't cost you more to set up those group emails.
Got it. Cool.
Because Google only charges you for each actual account that you have,
Cool.
each user who has an account. So you could have like 4 or 5 people, but then you have accounting and support. Like, not that you want to create like all these departments, but you could, and there's no extra cost for doing that.
Yeah, I think for me, like as I scale, just keep it as simple as I can, but
Yeah.
stay organized.
But
So
just know as you hire more people, you're going to want to give them company emails because
Mhm.
then, and it's not that we want to be pessimistic, but there's people that flake out or you have to fire them or whatever happens. And you've got to have control over all their access and all their emails. Because if it's all tied to their personal stuff and then they're working on different clients and then it's a mess and you can't figure out what's you know what I'm saying? It has to be
Yeah,
a clean onboarding process, clean offboarding process.
cool.
And that's what we've done with our onboarding and offboarding checklists, right?
Got
So
it.
when you do it at scale, it matters. You don't have to worry about that right now, but
Yeah,
uh,
do you have a like an organizational course on the Blitz metrics?
yeah, we have all of it.
Anything?
It's called the Operations Process Guide, OPG, which is
Okay, I'll go through that
a
course.
monster. But you can see here, and we talk about what happens at different levels and in different roles. But here, like onboarding a new person, I don't want to go into the whole thing. I just want to give you a taste, just to show you that there's more here than most people know. Like there's all these things that we need to do, like while we set them up with different kinds of access. But and then if we need to fire people or if they quit or whatever reason, we have the exact same process, which is our offboarding process. They have to mirror each other, right?
Got it.
Which all ties into the whole way when you hire VAs and job roles and they have to send an EOD report, every team member end of day report,
Yep.
and a weekly report which summarizes the whole thing, for the clients and overall, right? All that's kind of stuff to have accountability so that people don't abuse the freedom, right? You have to. And then, our guy John Jonas wrote a book, One VA Away, because Russell Brunson's his friend who wrote the, You're One Funnel Away. So he and John Jonas and Russell were hanging out in Coeur d'Alene in Idaho and doing Mormon things. And John Jonas, suggested, hey, you should do the One VA Way. And that's what John Jonas did. And a lot of what John teaches is the exact same things that I teach. Like we teach the same thing and
Yeah.
how to manage VA teams. Yeah. And I can give you his book too if you want, or you can buy it on Amazon, whatever it is, right?
Cool.
And you'll see it's the same thing that we teach. And it seems like a lot, but the as you start to have more people, you're going to really appreciate it. Like
Cool.
the thought is once you get past like 5 or 6 people, you're going to appreciate this.
Yeah, I feel great about
For example, like we just bought Sean Klongerbo, I can't even say his name,
it.
and we have a process for how do we set up a personal brand website. So now I don't have to say like, re-explain like how we do it, and it's all documented. And then
Do
if
you,
clients,
is there a possibility he has the website already up, but there's no like he has a web page. It's just the domain, like he let it go.
It could have lapsed. That's fine. I mean, we could. So here I'm showing you like what's part of our thing and how to set it up and, putting
Hmm.
stuff in here. So we could look at archive.org and look up his name and see, did it exist before? Looks like it existed in 2023, but it was down. And let's see what it looked like on April 6, 2023. No, it was redirected to ClickFunnels. So probably not. You see that, right? Redirected. So let's go back a little further. He bought it in 2018, apparently. So did he put something up? Let's go back to 2018. Nope, he never had a website.
Got it. Okay.
He directed all the ClickFunnels. Yeah. Isn't that neat? Like, did you know that you could do that? And you could check what
That's
website
crazy.
back then?
Way
Yeah.
back machine.
Yeah. Also called archive.org. Yeah. So many cool little tools. We could spend all day going through every little tool,
Yeah, that's awesome.
but anyway, what I was saying was everything we do has to be repeatable. So
Hmm.
when we have jackwent.com or Sean Klongerbo or my domain, every one of these is built on the exact same template. The information in there is different, but the template's the same, right? So
Hmm.
people will say, "Oh, I don't want a cookie cutter website." There's nothing wrong with the same framework.
Yeah.
What matters is what's the content that you put in there, right? Like
Hmm.
we all are on the exact same Facebook.
And it's not like it's like a Wix website where half of websites are like the same cookie cutter. It's like,
Well, when people say Wix website, that's a loaded term because it means all sorts of garbage, you know?
yeah, exactly.
But like we have, you and I are both on LinkedIn, but we have different information on our LinkedIn. That's just the way we think about it.
Yeah.
So if
Cool.
we do those things we just talked about, get access to the ad accounts, do the whole access checklist that we talked about, which means he's got to put in a credit card on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Google, maybe even TikTok just for fun, you know? Then we can start to run ads to drive people in. But then you said it wasn't clear what the funnel is. So I think that for the 2000 a month coaching package, it should go to a Calendly. And
Cool.
then it sets an appointment with him or one of his other people who then closes them, right? It qualifies them
Hmm.
as that thing, right?
Okay. Perfect.
And then whoever is the head of sales, meaning the person who's closing, could be him. I don't know what you tell me. Or maybe it's him and plus some other people. Anyone can come in and see what the stats are, right?
Yeah.
And then the end of the month, when it's time for the rev share, he can clearly see that these leads that have come in from people who booked the appointments, they came from all these marketing efforts where we're repurposing his content, which I think is super easy to do, right? I mean, the guy is
Hmm.
prolific in the amount of content he's produced. I mean, look at all these 200 videos or 182 videos,
Yeah.
a lot of stuff that we can repurpose. We can combine different pieces of it. We can take some of them and be standalone where he's explaining how margin multiplier works or, The beauty is he's made this stuff, Jack. I mean, you already know this, but I'm just saying explicitly. He's made all these videos about how, like, this is a freaking hour and 6 minutes. Only 190 people have seen it.
Yeah.
Why does he need to keep like repeating the same thing over and over again, right? I can't
Hmm.
imagine. I mean, maybe he's improved the tool a little bit, but and it's the same thing, right? It's not like any of this stuff changes from a year ago, right?
Yeah. What's up with have you worked on your YouTube channel a lot or you just haven't put that much into it?
So we're hypocrites because we haven't, our YouTube's all jacked up.
Yeah.
Yet somehow we still have 3,000 subs. Where the heck did all these subs come from? You
Hmm.
know? And we still get
Yeah.
clients from this somehow, right?
Yeah.
And these ones, this one is actually ranking for landscaping, Bloomington, Indiana, or whatever it is, right? Because
Yeah.
there's so little competing for those very niche kinds of terms, right? So you'll see some of these. Look at these videos. I'm just curious. How many of them are
Yeah,
even
I mean, because you got great content, so it's weird to see that
it's
your
good
YouTube
content.
channel
It's just like even the raw content
it
works
just
really
doesn't get
well.
any traction.
Yeah, because we haven't promoted it. And look, you have all these people saying great things, right?
Hmm.
Oh, no, I grew my agency working with Dennis, and Dennis is so good, and all these. Look at what these people have to say.
Hey, I'm Dave Albano,
This guy's a
CEO
big
and
deal.
founder of josemarketing.com. And I have to give a shout out to my buddy Dennis Yu of Blitz Metrics. Blitz Metrics and Dennis Yu are amazing. Dennis has helped me so much. He's not only a friend and mentor, he trains around the
This
world.
guy goes on, and I have hundreds of these.
Yeah.
I don't have one from
Yeah,
you,
that's cool.
but in 6 months you can make one for me.
Exactly.
But he's got that too, right? Have you categorized the success stories of all of our tree savages? That'd be really nice, wouldn't it? Is
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll
and
ask
I
him.
saw
That'll
there's
be a
like this
question.
testimonial sort of page, but you understand what I mean about going further than testimonials, but actually real stories that have meat to them? Not just
Yeah.
like, oh, I grew my tree service business using the tool and no, like actually share a little more than that, right?
Yeah, like it helped me to pay for my daughter's education or something along
Yeah.
those lines.
Yeah, and more about their business and how they started and why they're doing, just like a little more context,
Yeah.
not just a clear, obvious, oh, you should sign up for the coaching program, right? Yeah.
Yeah, again, it's kind of like have the client sell themselves.
Yeah. And because look, I get it. Like, let's just say he's got the most amazing software, templates for contracts, how to train people, let's just say all those things are amazing, right?
Hmm.
Coaching, it's all organized, right? Here's what happens. But people are irrational, emotional creatures, and they will gravitate towards, this guy. Some people gravitate towards this guy versus this other guy. Imagine it's like 99% guys, right? And
Yeah.
they'll just identify with some like this dude's story, right? For some reason, people want to identify with this dude versus some other dude because that's just how people are, even though they could be the same thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think you guys are awesome. Redbeard rocks.
And some old dude will be like, yeah, if this dude's in it, I'm in it. But then someone else is going to want to see what this guy's doing, right?
Yeah.
They just vibe better with this guy. So so this is nice where he's collected a bunch of these people that all said, oh yeah, we like Redbeard. But there's several angles to this. One is for each of the tree savages, each of these members, are they collecting the feedback of their customers? And then is Tree Savages collecting the feedback of all the tree service companies, right? You got to collect it on multiple levels, right? And then do you have a template or a process on how to collect it, which is not a sophisticated thing. It's like just put them all in one place,
Yeah.
one on
It's the
Fiverr.
content factory.
Exactly. Yeah. And but people don't do it. It's so obvious. It's so basic. You have, and I'm sure Sean knows this, which is why he wants to work with you. There's all the stuff that he just didn't want to do that you can do to grow this business.
Exactly. That's the value I bring.
Yeah, like look at these guys. Bill Burley. Bill Burley's talking about how he's grown his business. This guy Todd in Connecticut. Okay, maybe there's something different about the trees in Connecticut. They have a certain kind of tree that they don't have on the West Coast for some reason, right? Who cares, right? It's the same story. But these things have all had so few views. I think boosting and repurposing is the most obvious arbitrage move for you.
Cool.
And no, Jack, like the more data you have, the
Mhm.
better MAA is, right? The better we can optimize. Like optimization is not on like, oh, let's come up with an idea. It's based on let's look at the data and actually see based on the real numbers what's going on.
Awesome. Perfect.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, I just want to make sure you feel good. You understand what the pieces are.
Yeah.
What's going on with your buddy's coaching business.
Yeah, let's just make sure action items. I mean, do you think because I'm not probably going to take on a new client at High Rise for a little bit?
Yeah.
Or maybe I will. What do you think would be like should I start taking on, or just kind of this will be my first client where I'm also happen to be.
I'd say just unless you have like extreme AD, I'd say focus on this thing for now. There's so many things we need to get done. Why distract yourself?
Perfect.
Unless you like desperately need money or something like that.
Yeah. Then we probably don't even need to set up my LLC. Until
you should. You have to be paid somehow, don't you?
Well, right now I'll be paid through the revenue split.
Yeah, but he's paying your company, and then your company pays you.
Oh, I thought he was just going to pay me directly.
Well, then you have to bear the full tax on that. I mean, if you need to spend all your money, or you can expense it out because of some expense you have.
I don't need the money immediately at all.
Yeah, so you pay it into an LLC.
Okay.
He would technically be the first client of High Rise Influence.
Cool.
And you are the only employee of High Rise Influence. It's so much better when it's companies working with companies, but only when you make enough money that it matters.
Yeah. So what benefits, because that would probably be more of a hassle for him to pay. Would that be more of a hassle for him to bill it, for High Rise to bill Tree Savages and then it go to me? Or
how is it any more work? It's all it is, whatever way he's paying.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay, that makes sense.
That Jack Wendt is high rise. How much? It's like a few extra letters to write out High Rise Influence than Jack Wendt. So I think it's negligible. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I was just thinking that makes sense.
Either way, if he was to pay you as a person, then he'd probably have to get like a W-9 and W-10, like other forms, versus, paying the company. I guess technically a 1099, right?
Yeah, and the VAs are 1099s, right?
By definition, they're 1099s, but they're not in the U.S.
So how
1099
does that work?
independent contractor, but VAs are not in America, so it doesn't really matter. But they are technically contractors because they're not employees with benefits, and they're not governed by U.S. labor law.
Cool.
If they're not employees, they're contractors.
That makes sense. And you, circling back to this, for the my company bank account, you wanted it to be a local credit union. That's what you thought would be best.
I mean, if you can do USAA, why not? Right? That's a huge advantage.
Yeah.
But the choice of bank is not a huge deal. Like,
Yeah.
these are all just like boxes you have to check, right? It's not, I mean, do whatever you want. It can be, whatever. I think US Bank
It'd
is,
be US Bank, yeah.
yeah, they're really big in Minnesota. The US Bank is great.
Cool. Okay, I feel good about that.
Awesome. I'll send you this, and then you know how to run this through the AI to get the meeting summaries and that sort of thing, right?
Can you run it through ChatGPT? I've never done that before.
Oh yeah. We have a super premium Zoom account, which it sends out the video recording, but it also sends out the text thing as well. And then you can just put that through ChatGPT and say, hey, I just had this meeting with Dennis. And then you keep that one thread where that's the thread you talk about all these things, because that way it remembers, right? Because each thread kind of has its own memory.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And that way it knows what's going on and it already has the context built in. You don't have to start from scratch and like re-explain what's going on and what is high-rise influence. You have that one chat, you just keep it all in.
Perfect.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah. And if you want, we can add you to our team account if you want to share chats.
Yeah, I think I am already in the content.
Okay, yeah. So just use one main chat for that one.
Yep.
And then link me to it or share that with me so I can see what's going on. And like, I'm kind of messy, so I'm lazy. I don't always go back to that particular chat because sometimes it's just some quick thing. So I spawn hundreds of these random chats, but sometimes it's good where you want it to you want to go to that one chat because it remembers everything. Sometimes it's like not a huge deal. It's just like, okay, I'll paste it in here and just do this one quick thing for me.
Cool.
Awesome.
I have some good action items. Once I get done with this, or I have any more questions, I'll just shoot you a text.
Yep.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you for the help again, Dennis.
You rock, Jack. You should make a LinkedIn post about some of the things that you're learning and doing.
Perfect. Okay, I'll
Awesome.
see you soon.
All right. See you, bro. Not have it, unless.
Yeah, I mean, I remember what you were saying about you try and have one good quality meeting a day, and I like that a lot.
Yeah.
So.
Good.
Cool.
We've had a lot of productive meetings.
We have.
All right. Do you feel like you have enough to get things moving for the next week or so, or however long?
Yeah. Yep. I feel great about this.
You're going to get that contract done. You're going to set up the bank accounts for yourself. And then you're making sure Sean has separate financials for Tree Savages.
Yes.
All right. And then the best way I can help is if you copy me on, say, like some of the weekly reports, or if you have a monthly roll up, so I can kind of see what the stats is. So because we want to do this weekly.
You're saying like finances, like or what
marketing performance. So did I show you the weekly MAA, what I want to see happen?
No, and I've never really been in the marketing itself before.
I'll do
that's something I'm gonna have to learn.
So we'll do the first few together.
Cool.
And then once you kind of learn how to do it, you'll be like, this is so obvious. I don't know why people aren't doing this. Okay, so this I'm gonna put it here into our chat. Okay, we have a whole course on it, and the idea of metrics analysis action, right? Metrics on Thursday or whatever it is, or and then you analyze what's going on. Why did something go up or down? And then the action is because of this analysis. Here's what we need to do. So you're hypothesis testing, you're thinking creatively, you're understanding what's winning, what's not winning, and it's this whole thing, optimization. So the content factory is these middle 4 stages. Plumbing is this whole setup, which you're starting now. But then this optimization is really where the multiplier is.
Cool.
You're the whole point of dollar a day is you find a winner and then you put more money on it, right? And you kill the losers, that kind of thing. So we have full courses on how to do all of this. This is just kind of a summary. And this is something that I do like breathing. It's critical thinking. It's not just marketing optimization. It's like any kind of problem solving is based upon this model. And I didn't even invent this model. McKinsey did.
Yeah, cool.
So take a look at that. Take you a few minutes to read. It's worth your time because it's just, especially when you're an owner of business, you have to keep optimizing and improving, right? And find of all the things you could do. There's a million things you do. What are the most important things to do? What should be based on analysis?
I'm gonna find that. Oh, what was that called? How to what like a champ?
Optimize like a champ.
Perfect. Just having a brain for it.
And MAA cycles are my favorite thing to do. I just love doing those. It's like eating candy for me, except healthy.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it only takes a few minutes. It takes more time to explain the concept of optimizing than it is to actually do it.
Cool.
Once we have live
Cool.
data, it's so easy to cut through the data and figure out what's working.
Yeah.
So if you
Awesome.
get all this other stuff, all this like necessary, grunt work in place, then bring me in, especially for the optimizing. I love that part.
Okay, perfect. Feel great about that. And then as I learn to do it for this, I can implement those stuff for the coffee tab we were talking about in Seattle and my parents' gyms. So